Okay, my video is on. Cool. Hi. Wow. This is my first live, so I'm not sure how it works. We'll see. My plan was to talk to you today about my carnivore journey, and when I'm talking, my puppy Jasper wants to come up with me because he thinks he needs to be involved while I'm talking. So I guess he joined us today. Hi, yes. He just thinks I'm talking to him or something. So I wanted to talk today about how it happened that I started carnivore. And I've talked a little bit about this in my other videos. But what I want to talk about today is before carnivore, I was on a keto diet, and I had been on a keto diet for 8 years, from 2010 to 2018. And I wanted to do carnivore because my husband and I were on that trip, and we heard a few carnivore YouTubes while we were traveling in the car. You know, you have nothing else to do, so you listen to YouTube videos, and we heard Sean Baker and Michaela Peterson and Jordan Peterson all on the Joe Rogan show. So that convinced us both to go carnivore. My husband started carnivore right away the very next day, which was around, I think, October 20th, 2018. And I started the day we got back, which was, that's too much, which was November 12th, 2018. And that day, we were on a trip, and all I had eaten was already carnivore. We always had keto, we always had a breakfast of bacon and eggs, so that was carnivore. And then at lunch, I didn't eat anything. I think I skipped lunch that day because we were on our way home, and we were kind of tired of traveling. And so when we got home, it was about supper time, and we ordered a steak from a local restaurant, and so I had steak, and then I realized that, oh, I had just eaten carnivore that day. So that was pretty cool. So that was my first day carnivore. And when I was doing keto before, I was practically carnivore. At the end of keto, probably for the last 6 months maybe, I had been eating just meat, eggs, cheese, and fermented vegetables that were homemade by me. So I had a pretty close to carnivore diet anyway. I was less than 20 grams of carbs a day. So the change, I never had any kind of keto flu or carnivore flu or whatever we call it. I wasn't sick when I started carnivore. I felt really great. The only change was I started having daily diarrhea, and I didn't have it a lot. I just had once a day. When I pooped, it was very loose. That was really all. I guess I also had muscle cramps a little bit, so I did some electrolytes. I took some magnesium and potassium when I had cramps, and that made them go away, so that was fine. And for the first 6 months, I had this diarrhea once a day. I coughed up mucus for 6 months. Every single day for 6 months, I coughed up mucus. And I just thought, you know, maybe I'm detoxing something. I figured it was good. It didn't really bother me. It was just, that's what happened. And that was pretty much it. Now, after 6 months on carnivore, I noticed that the floaters in my eyes, which had been really getting bad, like I had floaters that would just float around in my vision, and it was making it hard to see. The floaters completely disappeared. They left completely. And that was pretty cool, and that was almost worth going carnivore for, because it had really bothered me. And after 6 months, it did take 6 months, but after 6 months, they were gone completely. So that was cool. And I just felt a little better. I felt more energetic. I had always been, because I had been keto for 8 years, and before that I had been carnivore for, not carnivore, low carb for several years because of my type 1 diabetes, which I think was a really good thing. So, there wasn't a lot of improvement. I did have, on carnivore, I had absolutely no more headaches, but I had kind of quit having headaches when I was keto. I had talked about that in the headache video. So those took 6 months. Then I just kept, so what my diet was like when I was carnivore, I was going to talk about that. What my diet was like when I was carnivore was bacon and eggs for breakfast almost every single day. Sunny side up eggs with 2, 3, 4 pieces of bacon, depending on how hungry I was for bacon. Then I would have either half of a ribeye or a burger and bacon for lunch. And then a lot of times for supper, I would have a burger scramble, which was burger meat sauteed in a pan and then you add eggs on top of it and stir it around till it's done. Or I might have chuck roast at lunch. I usually had my bigger meal at lunch and a smaller meal at supper. And I pretty much held up the 3 meals a day. And for me, it just made me happy. I did really well on it. My weight stayed the same. I never needed to lose weight. It wasn't why I decided to go carnivore. Why did I decide to go carnivore? I have always looked for the best diet for health and improving health. Because of my type 1 diabetes, I wanted to be in the very best health, because there's always a chance of getting complications on type 1 diabetes. I want to make sure it's a diet that's really good for blood sugar and taking the least amount of insulin that I can take, because let's say insulin is made in a factory. We don't really know what's in it. There are other ingredients other than insulin. So I don't feel great about taking large amounts of it. And there have been studies about diabetics that take large doses of insulin have a more of a chance of cancer. So that's one reason I like to be on the very, very low carb. And so carnivore is just basically nearly 0 carbs. So I always figure it's the best. And it's a diet that will make you very insulin sensitive. So that's a good thing with type 1 diabetics. It's a good thing for anybody to be as insulin sensitive as you can be, which just means that your body, if you're not a type 1 diabetic, produces insulin. So if you're insulin sensitive, your body doesn't need to produce a lot of insulin. So that's where you want to be. You always want to be the most insulin sensitive as you can be. So I didn't really have a lot of health changes besides the floaters, and I just felt better. I was more energetic. I was more confident. And that really was about it. I don't have any aches or pains, which is pretty cool. I'm 69 years old. It's not like I don't look my age. I don't feel my age. That's partly why I don't look my age. I certainly have wrinkles, and I have that neck thing that shows with age, and I have wrinkled arms. It's fine. I'm happy. I'm so happy to be my age because it means I've made it. You know, I'm still here, so that's a good thing. Now, after I had been carnivore for 4 years, I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago, I realized that my night vision was better. I could drive at night again. When you get older, and some people don't have this problem, but I've had this problem for quite a number of years, is if I try to drive at night, the headlights, instead of being just little pins of light, they're these huge lights that block all the vision around them. And that stopped. And one night I had to drive home from my son's house, and I realized that I could see a lot better and that the lights weren't bothering me. And that was pretty cool. So that improved, but it took 4 years, 4.5 years of carnivore, nearly, well, maybe 4 years, 4 years of carnivore, a little bit more than 4 years of carnivore. So that was cool. So I'm still having improvements after this long. So it's really awesome. Trying to think what else. Oh my goodness. I sneezed. Jasper, I sneezed. Did you tell everybody hello, Jasper? This is Jasper. He's my miniature poodle. He was a rescue. And I went out. So when I got him, my other dog, Rossetti, had been my dog for 11 years, and he got sick with cancer and died in January of this year. And then I found a rescue organization called Charlie's Friends, and I told them I needed a little dog, and the reason he had to be little was because I can't open my hands because of the Dupuytren contracture. So I can only pick up small poop. So I said, I have to have a small dog. So I got him in February, and he's been a wonderful addition to my life. And he's so sweet, but if I'm talking, either on the phone or I'm doing a video, he thinks he needs to be on my lap. I don't know why. I haven't figured that out yet, huh? But he's always wants to be by me, and he's very sweet. Trying to think of anything else. I wonder how I get comments, and if anybody's asking me anything, or if anybody's watching the live. I'm not really sure how that works, but I was hoping to get, oh, y'all can see my CGM right there. I have a CGM for my type 1 diabetes. I've had it for a few months, and I have this little, it tells me my blood sugars. My blood sugar is 66 right now, which is a little bit low. I've already corrected it with a few mints. So I have a receiver, but I also have it in my phone, and it says the same thing. You can't see the phone, huh? That's weird, but believe me, it says 66. You can kind of see it. Oh well. So it's a little bit low, but not terribly low, and I don't think it's going low anymore, so that's cool. What else? I really enjoy the carnivore diet. I can talk about why I enjoy it. I like the food, you know, just eating meat and eggs and cheese. What's not to like? It's delicious. I eat a high-fat carnivore diet mostly because I like it. And if I didn't eat the high fat, I have a tendency to lose weight. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm very sensitive to whether I lose weight quickly or I can gain weight quickly. It's pretty interesting, but I've never been overweight. I've always been a little bit underweight. So I have to be careful not to eat too little. So another reason why I really like the carnivore diet is it makes your shopping so easy. So when I go to if I'm out of food, I can be completely out of food, and there's, because it's just meat and eggs. So, you can run out. and there's nothing looking in the cabinet to see, oh, I forgot about this or I forgot about that. It's like when you're out, you're out. So I go to the store and I go back to the back of the store. I look at all the meat, pick up bacon, I pick up a roast or some kind of cheap steak. I shop for the cheap stuff, and there's usually some kind of meat on sale. This week I got hamburger meat for $2.99 a pound, and I usually buy a lot of it if it's $2.99 a pound. I don't go to a special store anymore. My husband and I used to buy all of our food from farmers, and I can't afford to do that anymore with not having his income since he died in November 2021, and I will probably do another video talking about his journey with him dying, but I'm not going to talk about that today. But I've been a widow for almost 2 years, and my life is completely different. But I'll get into that. I want to talk about why I'm enjoying the carnivore diet. So shopping is really easy. I buy eggs from a local neighbor who sells her yard chicken eggs. And so I just buy the meat at the grocery store. I save my bacon grease and tallow from cooking for my fat. And I buy butter from a farm in New Hampshire. So that's all I need. I can go into a store, and depending on the lines, I can be out in 5 or 10 minutes. And it's like, there's no decisions to make. It's so easy. And I like it when life is simple. So carnivore makes shopping really simple. It also makes food prep really simple. It takes me about 10 minutes per meal to cook for a meal, about 10 minutes. You just fry up a hamburger and put some bacon in the air fryer, or you fry up a steak, or you heat up leftover chuck roast, which is what I eat a lot of, or brisket. I'll make a big brisket or a big chuck roast and then just have leftovers for one of my meals every day. So it makes life so simple, but not boring. I'm telling you, every single time I sit down to a meal, I am happy about it. It's like, it's delicious. It always feels good. I always feel good after I eat. It's amazing. So that's why I like the carnivore diet. I used to think I loved vegetables because I was a really good cook, and I would make, and I always, I've been low carb since 1996, for about 27 years I've been low carb. So I could make, my favorite food was probably eggplant fries that I would fry up in bacon grease. That was probably my favorite food. Or roasted red peppers I really loved. And I also made a really good ratatouille. I was a good cook. And I've been making homemade mayonnaise for, 20, 25 years. And homemade salad dressings. I used to love big ass salads. But I really, on the carnivore diet, I do not miss salad. I do not miss sauteed vegetables, or I just don't miss it, because the food is so satisfying. And satisfying is not, satisfying is a word that means exactly what it means. It satisfies you, but it satisfies you in a really amazing way that you feel so good that you're not hungry again for several hours. So I never ever feel a need to snack. I don't hardly even think about food or eating until 5 hours later. I usually eat around 6 in the morning. I wake up at 5. I take a walk and get ready for my day with Rossetti, and then I come back make my breakfast. And I'll do some exercise during the day. I'll take 4 or 5 walks during the day. I might paint because I'm an artist. I might paint. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of studying. I do a lot of Instagram. So come follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I'm Amy Fields Perrin on Instagram. AIMEEFIELDSPERRIN. That's me on Instagram. That's also me on Facebook, which you can get me there, or message me on Facebook, or message me on Instagram. And if you have any questions that I didn't answer today, you can ask me in the comments. Leave me a comment. That'd be awesome. And let's see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Shopping is easy. The food tastes great. I'll talk about my type 1 diabetes a little bit. So it was really tricky to figure out the amount of insulin to take when I transitioned to carnivore. And I know that some type 1 diabetics are following me because I have a lot of friends on my social medias that are also type 1 diabetics. It could be challenging. I was challenged by it. And I, at first, really thought that the carnivore diet would heal my type 1 diabetes. So I tried really hard. In 2020, I did the Lion diet for 3 months, the month of July, August, and September. And I really thought that I would be able to heal the type 1 diabetes because my insulin requirements got so low on that Lion diet for 3 months. But I wasn't able to do it, so I still in the back of my mind thinking, well, maybe I'll figure out a way to heal the type 1 diabetes. So in September, I was doing the Lion diet, and I made a few videos about that. I did really well, and I did lower my insulin, but I have, at the end of September, I was missing eggs and bacon so much, and the way I used to eat, and if I was somewhere and I wanted to eat cheese, I just wanted to go back to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And that's usually what my diet is, even though I will eat cheese. I don't usually buy it, but I'll eat it like if I'm out somewhere and at someone's house and they're serving cheese. I might eat cheese. I might not. My blood sugars are not as good if I eat cheese. So that's definitely something to think about as a type 1 diabetic. But I have found that pretty consistently, when I make a change in my diet and my blood sugars become better because of the change, a lot of times that change stays. So way back when I was a raw vegan between 2003 and 2010, I was raw vegan, and I did lots of fasting. They were all juice fasts, like low sugar juice fast, that only lasted 5 days. So I did 3 of those, and my blood sugars would be really low during the fast, so I would be able to lower my insulin. And after all those fasts, my blood sugars and my insulin requirements did drop, and they stayed lower after I started eating keto and introduced meat into my diet. So I've been able to take less insulin than a lot of other type 1 diabetics do. And so now, how much insulin do I take? I take about 10 units a day, 10 or 12 units a day. And I take the insulin that I use is N and R from Walmart, and I take 5.5 units of N in the morning and 2 at night, although that's a little bit, I've been too low lately, so I might have to go back to 1.5. And then I take either 1.5, or 2 units of R for my meals. So it adds up to about 10 to 12 units of insulin per day, which is pretty low for most type 1 diabetics. And I feel really good about that. What I'm hoping to, I'm hoping that you guys will have some questions. If you leave them in the comments, that I'll have enough questions so that when the next time I do a video, I'll be able to answer some of your questions. So thanks for watching, and ask me questions. I'll always try to answer questions, and visit me on Facebook and Instagram. So if you like my videos, like the video, and then subscribe to my channel so YouTube gets notice of that. So I hear my phone calling me, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.